Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained, ladies and gentlemen? Man United have just done the unthinkable. They have just gone, rocked up to the Emirates. They beat Man City last week. They took care of business over there at Old Trafford. They rock up to the Emirates, and they've just served up a five-course meal for their fans. They have beaten Arsenal 3-2 at the Emirates. I don't have the words to describe this. Like, genuinely, I don't have the words to describe the game, anything. Like, this is just my raw reaction because that caught me by surprise. I did not expect to wake up this morning and not only see Arsenal lose at the Emirates, but to see United win and how it happened. You could not predict this. You could not write this. The script writers today pulled off an absolute masterclass. Absolute masterclass. Back-to-back wins for Michael Carrick, and now they move into the top four. They couldn't do it. They couldn't move into the top four against, the likes of Fulham, Forest, whatever, whenever they had the chances to before. But they've just beaten Man City and Arsenal back-to-back. 6 points, 6 out of 6 against two of the best teams in the league. Unreal. Unreal. Like, this is another example of why this is the best sport in the world by a country mile. Man United, a team at the beginning of the season, a broken team under Amorim, a team that was deemed untenable by so many pundits. Look at what they've just done. Unbelievable. Genuinely unbelievable. Like, they've looked absolutely revitalized. And I know it's an interim manager. I know. He's only here till the summer. We'll see if Michael Carrick stays after. But I think the job that he's done in such a short amount of time is just remarkable. Like, wow. Wow. I'm like speechless, genuinely. There's so many ways to think about this game, so many ways to like talk about it. You can attack it from so many different angles. And I think this is just one of those games that you will probably talk about 20 years from now, whether it's to your, your children, your grandchildren, whatever, whoever you are. Because this game will live in the memory of so many people. So many United fans, so many Arsenal fans. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. I might seem like, I'm not sad. As you guys know, there's a reason I have an Arsenal kit at the back. Like, I love Arsenal. I do like Arsenal. They're my favorite team in the Premier League. So it does hurt me to see that they've lost. If I was a hardcore fans in the stadium type of Arsenal fans, you saw them at full time. Some of them just are still sitting there, speechless, looking into the horizon. Like, they can't believe what they've just seen. If I was like that, I probably wouldn't be making this video right now. Part of me does feel like those fans. I'm not going to lie to you. But part of me just like, I have my thoughts. I'm here for vibes. There's a reason why I'm here talking in front of a camera, because I just want to get my thoughts out. If you're a Manchester United fan, comment below what you're thinking. Genuinely, just raw thoughts. You can type in a paragraph, you can type in one word, whatever you want. Comment below what you think. And if you're an Arsenal fan, also do the same thing. It's therapy in the end, you know what I mean? We're here to talk, discuss emotions, how you're feeling. United, they wore black today. They wore black because they turned up to a funeral, and it wasn't theirs. They turned up to Arsenal's funeral. Genuinely, when that Cunha goal went in, I'm like, I didn't speak for 5 minutes. Even when because I think it happened in the 87th minute. There's still 7 minutes of added time. I didn't say a word. I was speechless because when Arsenal scored the equalizer 2-2, Marino from the corner, I'm like, okay, this is Arsenal games to win. This is they have to go get the winner now. It's written for them. But just literally seconds later, off of the goal kick, Cunha spins in behind. Literally, what a dagger. That is the definition of a dagger, because everyone, including, I can promise you, everyone in the world would have put their whole house, money, kids, kidney stones, whatever you want, on the line for Arsenal to get that winner. Bro, I can't believe it, man. I'm just remembering how that goal went in. I genuinely couldn't believe it. But without getting sidetracked, let's talk about United. Let's talk about United before Arsenal. I think I have too many thoughts about United right now before I get onto Arsenal. Heading into this game, you've just beaten your biggest rivals in Manchester City, the derby, in fashion too, because that game, the way they played, unbelievable. Nobody really expected United to beat Arsenal. To get 3 points from Manchester City, from the way United season was going under Amorim, you know how that whole thing was going down. New manager, what Carrick did in the span of 3 days to pull off a win against Manchester City was brilliant enough. But the fact that he's come to the Emirates. Arsenal haven't lost at the Emirates this season. The last time they conceded 3 goals was against Luton Town away from home in December 2023. And the last time Arsenal conceded 3 goals at home in the Premier League was against Manchester City in March 2023. It's almost been 3 years since Arsenal have conceded 3 goals at home, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they conceded 3 goals against Villa, Brighton, maybe in the Cup against Brighton when they lost in the Carabao Cup, but I'm saying in the Premier League. The last time they conceded 3 was, I think, that game. I could be wrong. If you guys know the answer, please drop it in the comments below. But that is incredible. Regardless, United they've just made history today. They've ended records from all aspects. Defensive records, any sort of like goal scoring records at the Emirates, literally derby record. It's amazing. Incredible. This I'm telling you, this day will go down in history. Whether you're an Arsenal fan, whether you're a United fan, whether you're a City fan, this day will go down in history. This is the type of day you'll talk about in 20 years to your family, your kids, your grandkids, your dogs, your cats, your snakes, whatever you want, man. You know how we talk about Vieira, Keane those days back in the day. I mean, none of us watched it, but saying highlights wise, some of our like older, loved ones might talk about that game. By far, this is probably the most important or pivotal game of the season, just because of like the title race, how it's going. We're 7 points clear, but United now have dropped that down to 4, and United have moved into the top 4. But I think this is also just a big turning stone in terms of United's comeback. I'm not saying they're going to be at the level of City and Arsenal by the end of the season. No, absolutely not, because I mean the point discrepancy says it all. But just genuinely their trajectory now, something just clicked, and I don't know what it is. It might be Carrick, it might be themselves. You can't really analyze that because we don't know what goes on inside of Manchester United. But the fact that they've just turned it around in a snap against two of the best teams in England, you have to clap. Like, Manchester United. And it would be the most Manchester United thing if they go next week and just lose to Fulham. That would be the most United thing. All the progress you've made of just beating Manchester City and Arsenal, and you go drop points or lose to Fulham. That would just sum up United's season so far. If we were to actually get into the game though, United today, they set up perfectly. I think they set up perfectly because they knew they were not gonna gain possession over Arsenal. They were not gonna outpossess Arsenal at their own ground. Carrick set up United today to simply just frustrate Arsenal. Whether it's through build-up, duels, defensively, getting in behind Gabriel and Saliba, annoying them, attacking them from different angles, just being a pest. That was probably United's biggest tactic today, just to frustrate Arsenal and disrupt any sort of game plan that they had. The only thing that United really couldn't control was the set pieces from Arsenal. But I think Arsenal's set pieces are so inevitable. You can prepare on how to defend them, but you can't prepare on how much you have to defend. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal today, I think they had like 7 or 8 corners, or almost 10 corners. They had 5 alone in that first half, which is ridiculous. And I thought United actually defended their corners very well. That's something you can't really, you just have to hope for the best. You can, like I said, you can defend the corners as much as you can, but you can't defend how many corners you receive. Because for the first 20 minutes or so, I thought Arsenal actually played very well. For like the first 20-25 minutes, it was all Arsenal. They were deep, high into United's half. Saliba and Gabriel are almost in the final third. That's how high they were in that first half. And for United, I mean, the game plan was clear. Sit back, counter, use Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo on the counter. You had Dorgu, his pace in behind. Ahmad, his pace in behind. I thought Ahmad and Dorgu actually tracked back very well today. Ahmad to help Dalot defend Trossard, and Dorgu to help Luke Shaw defend Bukayo Saka. The game plan was there, and I thought, despite Arsenal going 1-0 up through a lucky deflection off of Lisandro Martinez, I think that first half, if Mikel Arteta, if the players are looking back and how they seized that lead, how they just gave it up, it's just going to haunt them. Zubimendi, it's so unlike him to make that mistake. You know what I mean? He's a very tidy player. He's a player that if you describe him in one word, it'd be the brain, because he's so smart, very cute on the ball, very technically gifted. He moves the ball quick. But for him to give away a sloppy pass, one touch, it falls to Mbeumo. Mbeumo does so well, keeps his composure, almost rounds David Raya, slots it home 1-1 out of absolutely nothing. And I think that point, United only literally had one shot. They had nothing. And that shot also came from another Arsenal mistake. So as soon as Arsenal went 1-0 up, the mistakes, the complacency, the build-up from the back, it wasn't the same. It wasn't as fluid. The standards were dropping, as Mikel Arteta said in his post-match conference. And I think United just did so well to capitalize. You have to capitalize, because it's very rare that Arsenal make those type of mistakes at home. When they do, you have to capitalize on it. You have to. That's what Villa did last season, the season before. You have to just capitalize, and I think United did that perfectly today. Both teams headed into halftime, 1-1, and United, they did what they had to do for 45 minutes. The second half, I think a lot of onus was on Arsenal to turn up, actually switch gears, turn it up a notch. For United, I mean, the game plan was just the same. But I do think something that I have to give United credit for is just bravery. They were brave. They were fine sending up Bruno. They were fine sending up Kobe Mainoo. They were fine sending up a lot of players up the pitch to press, disrupt Arsenal. They were brave. They didn't sit back. They didn't give Arsenal respect. And I think that's what a lot of teams do against Arsenal nowadays. They give Arsenal way too much respect on the ball. You have to go up, turn up to the occasion, be brave, because You look at the small teams in the league, you look at the mid-table teams in the league, a lot of them will just sit back, absorb pressure. Arsenal probably will eventually find some sort of breakthrough, Also, you can make the argument that, yeah, Arsenal made too many possession mistakes. They could have been a lot better in terms of winning duels. They could have been a lot better. There are so many aspects in which Arsenal could have been better today. They were below standard today by a country mile. But I do think United played a big role in that because they were just simply more disciplined. That's the best way to put it, I think. I think Bruno, Casemiro, and Kobbie Mainoo today, the way they were moving around Declan Rice, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, the 1-2s. I think the best way to sum up that United second half was just confidence. Confidence and bravery, because you know that, again, like I said, you're not going to outpossess Arsenal. But if you stick to your game plan, if you're disciplined, and when you have the ball, you can make something happen. And at the Emirates, you need to have special moments. You need to have special moments to make something happen in order to be Arsenal. And Patrick Dorgu. Oh my goodness. Patrick Dorgu today. That might be one of the best goals I've ever seen in the Premier League, man. That strike. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bro, who the hell allowed this guy to become Gareth Bale? Who allowed this guy to become Bale? Think about it. This is someone who was a left back for Lecce in the Serie A. A left back. And now he's playing left wing today, and he played against City as a left winger, grabbed the goal, and today he grabbed the goal against Arsenal. And the strike, man. The strike. 1-2. The 1-2s before with Bruno Fernandes. Unbelievable strike. People are going to say it's handball. No, it's not. It's such a close proximity. It just brushes his, it brushes his bicep or whatever. It's not a handball. I think he's looked absolutely revitalized in this new United system where he's pushing up higher up the pitch. He can also do a job defensively. He can track back. He's quick. He's athletic. Obviously came off with a hamstring injury today, so speedy recovery to Dorgu. But he's not your, mainstream left winger. He doesn't really take on anyone. But in terms of just athletic prowess, in terms of actually doing a job both defensively and offensively, I think this role, we could see something from him. I'm not going to go ahead and say this should be his position because, I don't know, I'm still learning about Dorgu myself. Bruno Fernandes. That's someone I want to talk about. Bruno Fernandes. The audacity, the little flicks, the balls in behind, the one-touch passing. This guy's just a cut above, man. This guy's just a cut above. I know a lot of people are going to go about Declan Rice for being, the PFA player of the season if Arsenal win the league, or you hear shouts about that a lot. But I do think that Bruno Fernandes, I made a video on my Instagram and TikTok about Bruno Fernandes. I think United fans are so lucky to have a player like him. And they're so lucky that he's someone that wants to stick with United. Despite their turmoil, despite their bad run of form, their bad run of games, whatever. He's someone who wants to stay because he loves the club. How could you not like a player like that? And he's so world class. And that's a cherry on the cake. He's so world class. Any facet of an elite midfielder, Bruno just ticks the boxes. And I think that he was simply just a cut above Odegaard, Declan Rice, Zubimendi today. Just a cut above, man. The heart of that team. Literally everything. Every goal went through Bruno Fernandes today. Whether it's the 1-2s, whether it's his positioning, his ability to just manipulate the ball, manipulate Arsenal's midfield today. Unreal. Whether you hate him or not, you just have to admit. You have to give credit where it's due. Something that really played into Bruno's hands especially was how close Casemiro is playing to Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro doesn't have the legs, right? Let's call it what it is. Casemiro, I'm probably faster than this guy. In terms of how smart they were together, in terms of their 1-2s, whether it's pressing Arsenal, whether it's closing down Odegaard or Declan Rice, in terms of cutting down passing lanes, I thought Casemiro played a huge role. Kobbie Mainoo, as much as I do like the player, I don't think he had the best game today, in my opinion. I might be wrong about that. You guys can let me know. I just do think that those two were simply far superior. That's my opinion. Kobbie Mainoo, though, it's good to see him back in the starting 11 because, I don't know, to this day, I will never understand why Amorim doesn't use a player like that. Because he is a very, very talented player. And look, I don't want to make this video too long, but I thought the backline for United, they were class. They literally silenced, nullified both Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus. Saka was by far Arsenal's most dangerous player today because I feel like he was the only willing one to make things happen for Arsenal today. But I thought, Shaw, for as much as he could do against Bukayo Saka, yeah, he gave up a lot of corners, maybe gave up a shot or two. But I think, Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire today. Wow, man. Wow, that duo. We saw it against City and we saw it again today. And that's now United back into the top 4. Ahead of Chelsea, ahead of Liverpool. Unbelievable. But now it is time to talk about Arsenal. I think they're back. I can't believe it, man. I think they're just cursed at this point. They had everything on the table. Arsenal had everything on the table to turn up, home support, home ground, statement win against United to maintain their 7-point lead ahead of Manchester City and Aston Villa today. To turn up like that second half performance, man, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just like shocked because this is a team that everyone believes, whether you want to call it, a title race or not between them and City. A lot of people are going to have Arsenal winning the league this season, myself included. I mean, to be fair, I didn't have them winning the league at the beginning of the season because we all know how that went. It's just opportunities after opportunities. It's another failed opportunity to make sure to keep that 7-point cushion. It just feels like 22-23 all over again. It really does. It really does. Like, this is taking me back to the West Ham, Southampton, City at home, Villa at home, that type of performance. It's bland. It's toothlessness up top. No answers to United's questions. And you could tell that second half at the 50th or 60th minute when Arteta literally threw the kitchen sink. He threw everything at the dice. Everything. He brought in 4 substitutions. And still, they didn't really have an answer. I mean, they grabbed the Marino equalizer off of a set piece. But I think this whole narrative of Arsenal not having creativity, this Arsenal not having the ability to score open play goals for a consecutive run of games, them relying on set pieces, them relying only on Bukayo Saka. Part of me does want to believe that this is just a one-off game, because it's funny how we're calling Arsenal toothless, no creativity, no invention in attack after that Inter game, because that Inter game, they played so well against Inter at the San Siro, which is a tough place to go to for any team. Like I said, the fact that they have the highest floor in terms of their squad, their depth, but the fact that they still don't have answers in these type of games, it just makes me concerned about this project. And I don't want to call it quits with this project, because I do think that there is still a large part of the season to go. Anything can happen. It's a 4-point lead in the end, But if these games keep happening at pivotal times of the season, important times of the season, will there be a genuine breaking point with this project, is my question. Because a result like today against Man United, probably the worst, you could call it the worst Man United you've seen in such a long time. The league leaders, a team that was blowing out every single big team beginning of the season and up till now too, and to lose at home like that against Man United. I mean, look, United took their chances very well. They were super clinical. They had the guile to shoot. I think that's the biggest thing that Arsenal didn't have today. United took their chances very well. Arsenal, they just suffer again in order to break low blocks down. And it's funny how it only happens in the Prem, because in the Champions League we've seen it, but they have answers to it. But why does it happen in the Prem? I feel like there's just some sort of curse, whether it's with them. I don't know what it is, man. I don't have the answer to it, because it's just shocking. Like, how many times are we going to see this happen with Arsenal? Are they going to blow another lead? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know what to tell you, because that second half, the fact that they only had a shot on target by the 80th minute from a shot from Bukayo Saka at the near post says it all. They don't shoot enough. They don't take enough risks. They don't test the keeper enough in games like this. We saw it against Manchester City at home at the Emirates. I feel like they could have played a lot better that game too, and they got saved by Martinelli at the end. But again, games like Villa, games like Spurs, where they just blow them out the park. I think moments like that really separate great Premier League teams and Arsenal. I remember seeing debates about how the United 2008 team would struggle against the Arsenal team. Come on, man. That United 2008 team. I was 5 years old. I don't even remember watching them. But I've watched back the highlights. I've watched, how they play under Fergie. That 2008 team is unreal. But I found this tweet from an Arsenal fan that I follow on Twitter. His name is Alex Moneypenny. I'm sure some of you may know him. But I think he summed up that first half and parts of the second half, in my opinion, perfectly. I'm going to read it out to you guys. He said sometimes, he's an Arsenal fan, he said sometimes you can want something too much. And he emphasized the word too. And I think today we wanted a statement win. Good balance until the goal, then we start rushing actions and the execution goes as we smelt blood. And I think that sums up Arsenal perfectly, because they had the biggest expectation, them, the fans, whatever, of them just absolutely peppering, blowing out United today. Statement win. And I feel like when you want something too much, you overthink it and you overdo it. And I think that's exactly what happened to Arsenal in that second half. They didn't have any answers. They were literally, you could sense the anxiety in the team, to the soft underbelly when it comes down to the, do you really want the fiber of the team? Because champions will find a way to win. Always. Always. No matter what it is. If it's meant for you, you will find a way to win. And we've seen that with Arsenal in moments this season. But man, today just felt different. Huge win for United. And Arsenal, it's a bad loss at home especially. But there's still a long way to go in the season. But I'm not going to give up on Arsenal. But that's now 3 winless games in the Premier League in a row for Arsenal. It can't go on like this, can it? We'll have to wait and see how the season pans out. But if you guys did like the video, subscribe. Make sure you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Follow all my socials, all that good stuff. Appreciate the support. Apologies for the long video, but I just have to get my thoughts out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.